welcome to Start With The Facts. Yo, welcome back to Start With The Facts from your greatest host and expert on Start With The Facts, Maurice Claret. Like I tell you, every day and every week.
You put another word in front of it. Expert, you don't put greatest.
These are positive affirmations. Look, these are positive affirmations that I'm speaking over myself and into the universe. And even if you didn't think I was before, I've kind of forced you to think about me being an expert. So at least I did the initial part and planted the thought. So I'm an expert.
I'm just thinking about the Alabama game.
But listen to me. And you see how hating starts?
We're just starting with the facts.
Through this state.
Just look, I was going to give these brothers some respectable and distinguished introductions, but you see, that's how the hate starts. Where you start to think a lot about yourself, you try to build yourself up, and there's always people trying
to pull you back into the bucket.
But the first person to try to pull me down to the left, Mr. Alex Allen. The second person who tried to pull me down was Mr. Brian Inkra in South Florida. I don't know if you said nothing, DJ. I don't remember that far.
Nah, I could tell we finna buck this show already. I already know. I saw the rundown, and I saw we got big game picks, and I already kind of know where this is going. So
okay, well, South Florida DJ,
yeah,
Mr. Well, first of all, I'll tell you like this. I said I didn't understand how silly you was until we started doing this show. But as much as I have a fun time laughing with Mason Kim on this one, I know for a fact it's gonna be about 3 or 4 times you're gonna say some crazy shit that I'll just go ahead and start dying over. So hopefully the viewers are as entertained as I am with doing the show. But as usual, if you start joining us, sorry it's Friday. I know y'all's probably waiting for it. It is what it is to do a show today. I don't know why they didn't put the show out today, but those are my brothers. I'm pretty sure it's a great reason as to why. But we're happy that we could entertain y'all today, and hopefully y'all can stay with us moving forward. So if this is here for your first time, thank you for joining us. And we usually kick the show off with, I call him our brother, but our resident white guy, Mr. Brian Inkra. He kind of hosts and pivots the conversation around us fellas. So
the one thing I want to add before we jump into some football talk is DJ does say some wild stuff, but I do want to say I would like to prepare for these podcasts. Like I'd like to talk about the flow and what we're going to say and how it's going to go. And Maurice is like very anti that. We're not allowed to talk. We can't text back and forth about what our takes are, what our opinions are. It is 1000% authentic, unprepared and real and in the moment, which makes me a couple of times every show very uncomfortable because I don't know where it's going to go. Nobody tells me what they're going to say. And I'm just, expected to hand it off to the next. So thank you for DJ, Maurice, and Alex for always keeping it authentic and keeping it real. I appreciate that. Spontaneous.
So you don't know, I'll say this. This is about, you ever heard of freestyling before?
Yes.
Okay. So people hate when people freestyle and they produce music that was written. Yeah. So there's no originality to it. You take the energy out of it, right? You take I think that's what makes the show special. Those are our original thoughts in the moment. And I think that's what makes it funny. I think when you try to over prepare, like you just take away that whatever that ingredient of spontaneity is, I think you take that out of it. That's my reason.
I agree. And as uncomfortable as it might get sometimes not having prepared, it does make it, I think, at least for me, more enjoyable in a lot.
Can I say something? Like
you always do.
Like the first show we did, and I found out the name of the show live on air. Hey, Alex, you don't know nothing about this.
No.
So we had a whole nother name. I was already making the merch collection, and we start the show, and Maurice is like, welcome to Starting to the Facts, where everything is factual. So I'm doing a show, and then I'm like, damn, we like 15 minutes in, and I'm like, he done said Starting to the Facts like 5 times. I think that's the fucking name of the show.
DJ had designs for shirts, the logo, the Instagram.
That's all I want to do,
you signed up for a different Instagram, if I remember correctly.
100%. Listen, that's all I want to do. Look, it was brick by brick. I had designs, but like you talk about the spontaneousness, I just roll with it, and look where we are now, right? And that's why I always say, can't throw that fact shit on me, because I didn't sign up for this.
Maybe sign up for something different.
So here we are, season 1, episode 11. We're going to jump into some NFL football. Last night, Thursday night football, the 49ers traveled down to LA to face the Rams. What I found interesting about this game is that it was an 8.5 point spread. So the Rams were favored by 8.5. San Francisco with one loss, a really good team in the NFC, came in as 8.5 point dogs, but because of injuries, they're decimated. No Brock Purdy, no Bosa, no George Kittle, and top 3 wide receivers were out. So an 8.5 point dog does make sense. And ironically, as yesterday, we made a big deal out of college football overtime versus NFL overtime. Wouldn't you know? We spoke into existence an overnight game, Thursday night football. So DJ, did you catch the game and what'd you think?
Oh yeah, I caught the game, and this was one of those games that, usually Mo says, I don't want to watch that shit. This was one of those Thursday night games that you would have loved to watch, right? Even with it being lopsided, with them being, 8+ point dogs, having 7 to 8 individuals out, the 49ers came and played their fucking ass off. Like, I applaud Daniel Jones' effort. Like, people don't understand that football is a brutal fucking sport. Oh, sorry. Football is a brutal fucking sport. Throughout the game, he had a shoulder, he had a knee, he had a hip. And as you were watching the Rams, it was like, all we got to do is tee off on his ass, and the game is over. Whoever the backup was, Garcia, some shit like that, I could tell that if he got in the game, it was a wrap. And the Rams continued to attack. And there were several times that Jones got up off the turf, had to be helped and escorted off the field, and you thought he was done for the night. And he continued to dial back in.
Let me ask you a question. When you see him perform, and this just always goes to my mind. I'm trying to prove a point, but I don't want to influence your decision making. But we always talk about where players or systems allow players to flourish. And you see the success that he didn't have in, I don't know if it's success he didn't have in New England, but you see him now and you see how he flourishes in the system with Kyle Shanahan. And I don't know, what is your thoughts about that? Or do you have any thoughts about that?
No, it's perfect, right? And so I played under Mike Shanahan, right? So I understand that Shanahan system, and it is very quarterback friendly, right? It is get the ball out fast, right? A lot of play action run, right? Suck the linebackers up, right? Get receivers one-on-one with DBs. But when I looked at this was like a chance for him to redeem himself, right? He was a top pick, right? He was a top 100%. Pick. And he had a chance where he could have folded. And again, I don't know what was in his head, but the beating and the pounding that he took and he continued to get up just amazed me. And I'll be honest, from that game alone, he gave himself another 10 years in the league, another $100 million, because he showed grit. But listen, I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life. And I'm going to send you guys the pictures. He was getting his ass beat so bad. And I don't know if you've ever seen this, Mo, or Alex, if you ever seen this. His ass pad was up to the middle of his back and inside out for a whole quarter. Hey, Will, you got to put this shit. This is how bad he was getting his ass beat. Like, as I'm watching the game, I'm like, yo, stay down. And he getting up, I'm like, you defeated. Then I looked, I'm like, is that his ass pad? And he played damn near a whole series with his ass pads out, man. And well deserving of the victory, man. He showed heart, he showed grit. And you talk about the 49ers, right? They have that record, and they had 7 of their top guys out. So what's going to happen when you get Purdy and all the receivers back in, right? They're going to be a problem.
They're going to be dangerous for sure. So, I mean, keeping it in the NFL, and Maurice made a comment, is it the system? New England, there wasn't success. He sure showed some success last night. You guys make my life easy with these transitions when you set me up that way, because we're going to talk about the Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and 2 quarterbacks that were kind of written off. Both Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are going to square off this weekend. So, had not great starts to their career, have bounced around, both of them, a couple of times. now leading teams to 3-1 records, and they're going to face off. What do you guys think? Is it they've always had it, or is it the system they're in now?
What?
I think we're talking about the Browns, like I said yesterday, 41 different starting quarterbacks. I think Baker always had it. I was a believer of Baker when he was at Oklahoma. I liked his grit, like DJ spoke about. So I think Baker always had it. He just had to get the system that was fit for him. When he went to the Rams, he got in and he did a last drive and brought him back and won. And I was like, yo, Baker is really that deal. And then what he did down in Tampa just kind of solidified, what I thought about him. As far as Darnold, I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched him enough. I know he had some success with the Vikings. But my thing is, if he was that good, why give him, away? But then it makes sense they drafted a guy first round. But it also has something to do with them guys from Ohio State, those two receivers at both of those teams. So I think those guys make it easy for the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of systems helping to make guys. It's just a skill set. You can be a great athlete. You can be a great, playmaker. You can be, just a great player individually, but the system needs to fit your skill set, right? If you put me, like just me, right? If I think about just the running styles I've had and things that were conducive to my body size and things that were conducive to me breaking tackles, I come from a gap and power scheme. Guys who run the ball in the zone scheme are much different. These guys are a little bit more elusive. They can cut back against the grain, how they get tackled, who tackles them. All this stuff makes a difference. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing from a quarterback. If you could be a great guy who processes who processes decision making very well, and you can throw in zones, you can throw in holes, right? But if you have to throw people open, or if you have to throw against a man beating route and knowing where to place the ball, some guys aren't so good at that. They're just used to throwing in spots, and that goes into how you train, but that goes all ultimately into the system that the guys basically put in front of you. So I think that the system does a lot for guys. But I'll also say this: you need a lot of components to help guys out. I think sometimes we minimize just the totality of the team and how much the totality of the team and personnel and all that stuff goes into, the productivity into just different players with different teams.
DJ, any thoughts on that?
No, I'll just add to Mo, right, where you talk about the system, but another very important component is buying into the system, right?
Oh,
because
yes, great point.
Yeah. When you do get a quarterback, you do want to assess his talents and find out what he does well, but at the same time, you don't want to rewrite your whole offense. So there's going to be some give and take. And so I applaud, both of these quarterbacks, right? Darnold and Baker, because at some point in time, especially when it's not working out for you, you got to put your pride to the side and you have to trust. That's the number one thing, right? Like when you've bounced around from team to team, kind of been done bad and shady, what happens, the first thing you do is you lose trust, right? So for both of these guys to open up to their offensive coordinators, to trust them, trust the process, trust the system, trust that they're going to get the players and the guys around them. I think that's another major component to being successful.
Well, let me say, one thing just went through my mind as you were talking, right? So think about Mac Jones, right? He comes out of Alabama. What is one thing he had at Alabama? A ton of stars in the system. He stepped into the Saban system. So was he good, or did the system allow his skill set to be on display? And so when you get drafted to New England, remember, New England was shitty. And that's why he got drafted high up into New England. And so you typically want to take a Lamar Jackson or somebody who's a dynamic athlete player who doesn't need all of these pieces around them to become successful. You can't just take a guy who's been successful within a system and say, hey, no offense, just take Ken Dorsey, right?
Yeah.
Ken Dorsey flourished in a great system, and that's no knocks to him, but you had a bunch of these components, and I just think like him going back to the 49ers, maybe you just may have that system, and it's been there for a number of years, and he's like, okay, this seems familiar to me, even though we don't have our top tier stars out here, we still have enough people who've bought into your point, who's bought into what we're doing. So that's how I look at that. I kind of got real technical with the conversation because I started thinking about other things, but I think a lot of that plays into it, but I'm not sure when I'll tell you like this. I used to give people who draft people more credit until I started getting closer to coaches. Yeah. And I'd be like, man, these niggas stupid as fuck. Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, because I'd be at practice and all the NFL teams be down here and I'd be like, yo, how'd you get your job? Oh, I just kind of ran into somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know shit out there. So they're just looking at people Same way we look at these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? My dad kind of knew somebody and didn't have shit to do, or my cousin knew somebody else. That's it, man. These motherfuckers making decisions on people. Got a little notepad, never played in his life. You know what I'm saying? So they looking at this shit like John Madden football and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole different story.
To simplify what you just said, right? We'll use Carson Beck, right? Last year with Georgia, they were writing Carson Beck off. What people didn't understand was his wide receiver one was actually the fifth guy on the depth chart. That's how much of the talent that he lost from injuries and then the multiple drops. What happened? You get him to Miami. Miami's killing it in the portal. We're bringing in a bunch of talent around him. Now his name is back in the high.
DJ.
That's what they call me, expert DJ.
You find a way to bring it back to you, man. To the you, man. I was sitting back enjoying the conversation. When you said, DJ, when you said to simplify what you just said, this was his words. To simplify what you just said. I'm like, that ain't simplified. That's just giving you an opportunity to talk about Miami. Please, Brian, go ahead.
Well, we are saving the Miami Florida State talk closer to the end because I can see DJ. Look at him; he's on the edge of his chair. He is ready to go. Like he's ready to roll. We're gonna temper that for a couple more minutes. We got a bunch of picks we got to make. So we are gonna run into college football. We're gonna get out of the NFL, run into college football, and we're gonna mix in some picks. We're gonna talk about the top games. Everybody's gonna lock in a couple of picks. As Maurice would say, you can listen to the expert, which he feels he is, or if you want to win money, you can listen to the rest of us. You all can decide. But let's start with number 9, Texas, traveling to unranked Gainesville to take on those Gators. Texas is favored by 5.5. All right, they're going on the road. What do you guys think?
Gators.
You got your Gator blue on again today.
No, this ain't Gator blue. You colorblind? This is actually my Ole Miss. They got a bye this week, so I got on my Ole Miss. I'm representing Ole Miss, my Rebels today. But I like the Gators, and I know DJ hasn't been playing great. Manning has been playing okay, but I'm kind of redacting what I was talking about. You know, him having that swag versus the teams that he's been playing against. He's going to go against a very good defense now, and if he can go in there and do exactly what he did versus Sam Houston, he'll have my respect even more. But I don't see that happening versus the Gators with that defense. But on the other end, DJ Lagway is also facing a very tough defense in Texas. But I think that I'm going with Florida at home.
Yeah, I'll keep...
Hang on, we got to clarify. Florida to win.
To win.
Florida money line. Yeah. Okay, that's a big bet.
Yeah, you can count me in for that. I think it's. I just think this is a desperation have to win. Billy Napier, emotional. Let me get you guys going to try to save my job sort of win. And I think he's going to try to galvanize them with the same sort of upsets that took place last week. I think that's probably been the messaging. And it's what does DJ always say? Giving them the speech about the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, or the mathematically eligible.
Mathematically eligible, yes, sir.
Yeah. I think Billy Napier is going to give him a mathematically eligible conversation to try to galvanize him.
I'm surprised because, we haven't gotten Brian's take yet, but I'm surprised that the three of us, we do agree. I'm gonna give a little bit more insight. I believe the Gators are coming off a bye week, correct?
Yes, yeah. And so is Texas.
Yes. Okay. So. With that being said, they've had an extra week to prepare for Texas. I'm going to tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go back and they're going to look at that Ohio State game. They're going to do everything that Patricia did in that game, but they're going to put a little wrinkle into it. They're going to put a guy in a different position. They're going to, maybe instead of buzz out with the defense end, they're going to buzz out with the tackle. They're going to make it difficult for Manning. And I believe, even though Lagway has not been playing well, I believe he's an all-around better talent. And what's going to happen is that pressure is going to get on Manning because that Gator defense is good. And unlike the great coaching staff at Ohio State, who's able to hide Sands' inability to throw down the field, Texas is not going to be able to do that. It's all day, Mo. Because I already know. It's all day. It's all day, Mo. It's all day. I'm like Foreman. Look, I'm blocking them things like Foreman coming in.
Hey, I just saw the insult. I was like, there he goes again.
All right, so to get a pick on record, you got the three of theirs. I have Texas to cover, low scoring game, something in that 20-14 range, but I do think Texas comes out victorious, and I think they're going to cover the 5.5.
Wait. You going against all of us?
Yeah, this is how I separate myself from you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, this is an easy one. 16 Vandy plays at 10 Alabama. Alabama favored big as expected, 11.5 points. Let's go around the horn and see who everybody has.
Yeah. Oh, Caleb, is it Caleb or Kalen? Kalen DeBoer.
That's my dog.
I think that he's gotten his troops on the right track, and I think the Athens win and going into league play, and the fact that they beat him last year, I think all of that. This is like my man James Brown, the big payback.
Big payback.
Yeah,
all right.
So.
Alabama
Yes,
covers
correct.
the 11.5.
100%.
Okay.
Yep, I'm with that. Ty Simpson, let's get it.
Yeah. I
Brian,
agree.
Brian, what are the numbers on this?
What do you
like
which numbers you looking for?
favored, money line, over, under?
Alabama's favored by 11.5 at home.
I think Alabama's going to win by more than 20 points. I think they're going to blow their ass out the water. There's something called bigger, stronger, faster. That's just what they are when it's
1,000%.
compared to Vandy. And what happened last year was an anomaly. You snuck up on them. You guys got the momentum, got them on their heels, and you were able to pull out the victory. The issue is that whole team been talking shit this whole year. So that game has been circled. They are bigger. They are stronger. They are faster. And right now they are pissed the fuck off. Vandy, I got Alabama winning. I got them covering, and I got them blowing them the fuck out.
Yeah, I heard somebody on the radio talking yesterday about Diego Pavia, and he has 3 levels of trash talk after a long run. And he does this, they said, every time. He'll talk shit to the safeties and the defensive backs. He'll talk shit to the linebackers, and then he'll talk shit back to the linemen on his way back to every huddle.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be saying too much.
And I think he gets one run in and it'll be his last.
Yeah,
so I do pick Alabama big, but I think this is funny because I think we went like 3 or 4 shows in a row a couple weeks ago on the Kalen DeBoer hate train. And well, he's got our approval back. So go.
That's sports. That's
roll
sports.
Tide. You picked Bama.
Yeah, I'm saying you said we've been on a killing.
Okay, here we go. Fat guy's back.
The one
Maurice, CJ, and Brian were on the Kalen DeBoer.
I'm allowed to hate you and love you again.
What you
we
say,
are
Mo?
emotional roller
Two
coaster.
things can be correct at the same time.
I hate you on Monday, love you on Tuesday.
We're wrong every once in a while. All right, we got unranked Mississippi State going on the road to play Texas A&M. 6th-ranked Texas A&M. A&M favored by 16.5. Keep in mind, Mississippi State coming off of a heck of a win. A loss in overtime last week.
I like Texas A&M, but I don't like them to blow them out, not in league play. 16.5 points, you're basically saying that, that's just a lot of points to me. I like Texas A&M to win, but when I see 16.5,
That's 3 scores.
That's a lot in league play.
Yep.
That's my opinion.
DJ?
Yeah, I haven't watched either of the teams honestly this year, but I do feel Texas A&M is very sneaky within this SEC, and I think they have a shot of actually making it to the championship game and winning. I'm gonna go with Texas A&M. I don't think that they're gonna blow them out. Conference game I think is gonna be tough.
Texas A&M not covering. That's what it's called, right? Not covering 16 points yet.
Yep, I'm right there with you guys. Texas A&M wins the game. They don't cover the spread. Okay, we're probably going to spend more than 30 seconds on this next one. Upset alert. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see what everybody has to say. But Miami travels to Florida State. DJ, what are you doing?
Y'all just keep doing this shit.
Okay, we're going to keep going. I don't know where you're going. Miami travels to Florida State. Miami favored by 4.5. This line keeps moving back and forth. I've seen it as low as 3.5. I've seen it up to 5. And as of this morning, it was 4.5. So we'll start with DJ. DJ, who you got?
What's that?
Who you got in the game? Miami at Florida State.
As of right now, I'm already wearing a shirt that we pre-made called State Champs, where we got every team in Florida already crossed out. There's this shirt right here. We run Florida, where we got every team that we beat on the mantle, I'm going by Miami. We cover. We blow their ass out.
Okay, so Mr. Cobb, make your bet right now.
Oh yeah. So I went to some event, and they hooked me up. Hard Rock bet.
Hard Rock, yeah, go okay.
Hard Rock bet, right? They gave me the little app, gave me some little coins. So I'm finna jump in on the app right now. I'm gonna put it all. Brian, you just tell me. Like I believe we win, we cover, but I don't believe I'm gonna go with the under.
What's the over under? What's the total points?
I think it's 26. So I think it's 26, 27. Let me see.
Oh, I would go over. They got to be more than 26 or 27. That would be
so that's what I'm saying. We're getting educated. Right? I've never made a bet before in my
life.
No,
so over and under is what is the combined points of both teams? Both teams are going to score.
We're going to score over 26, but we're going to be under, what is it?
54 and a half.
Yeah, we're going to be under 54. So I would say State covering.
What you're trying to say is you have Miami covering and then under 54 points.
Correct. And ain't another bet
I have Florida State winning, and I have under 54 points.
Shut the front door.
Look,
shut the front door.
So look, you can see I'm an expert because y'all followed all my picks, you and Alex, right?
So went first.
So I can see how much I've influenced y'all. But I'm saying that Florida. This is my personal opinion. I just believe after what I saw, I'm like, there's no way that Florida State is not. Everybody's going to redeem themselves or try to redeem themselves off of this Alabama speech, and people said, hey, man, we can go out here and upset anybody and our season can turn around. And if you get in the playoffs, you can be a 2-loss team. And I think every single college coach has to do that. And then you know it just as well as I know, when you play at home, you're always talking about defending home and winning home. I think that gives you a little emphasis. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, that's the problem. They think they got home field advantage. That's our house, man.
That's y'all house.
Listen, I told y'all earlier in the week that when it's Florida State week, doom, 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 doom. We had that shit playing through the facility all day and every day.
Okay.
And for any individuals that remember the late 90s and the early 2000s, why there were so many fights that always broke out, Doak Campbell is the best atmosphere in college football. I know we got Penn State whiteout. I know we got LSU. I know we got the over here to jump around. But
Wisconsin.
I'm talking about 90+ thousand with that chant. Doom, 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 doom. And them motherfuckers is hawking, right? People don't know. Back in the days, the field was cut within the 50. You used to have to stay on your side of the 50-yard line. If one of your boys was over there, you had to meet at the 50 and talk. It ain't like this day and age, right? So what happens with that Florida State game is that chant is going, doom, 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 right? The next thing you know, motherfucking Renegade and Osceola come out, bam! Motherfucker come out on that motherfucking horse, right? Come out of that horse. Florida State's whole team used to line up across the 50-yard line on their side. Osceola get the horse, you know what I'm saying? They got a spear with fire in it. That motherfucker throw it in the ground, and when he throw it, the whole stadium goes whoosh. And then you know what happens? Hold on. Florida State's whole team, they take one step over the 50 line. They in your territory, nigga. That's why it used to be so many fights before the game.
So what you saying? They doing it all for nothing right now?
Oh, what I'm saying is they ain't got that no more. And we've taken that song a long time and made it our anthem. And at the end of the day, they went 2-10 last year. 60 to 70% of the cats on the team is still the same guy. You are what we thought you were. And Virginia showed us the truth, man. Virginia showed us the truth. Let me buckle up. Buckle up, man. Hey, I know Alex got something to say. Hey, look, I'm sitting at the 50 like this. I know Alex. Go ahead, say it, Alex.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm sitting here enjoying this, man. The tradition that you guys have. I mean, when I played in college, we didn't have that versus our rivals. So I'm enjoying the story.
Yeah,
you know
no
what I mean?
doubt.
There's no hate right now. I'm enjoying the story.
I'm hyped. I ain't taking it off.
I do have a question.
Y'all can hear me y'all can hear me this whole time?
Yeah, but you clearly can't hear us, right?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay, you got the old ear pads
Look
in
at
there.
that. Look at that.
So wait, you said that's what it used to be like. Do they not do that anymore?
So now, no. Back
He
in
said
the
they're
days,
doing it, but they're not good.
No, hold on. No, back in the days, you couldn't go on to the other side of the field unless you were a kicker. And that's why back in the days, kickers used to always get punked. Now, cats is warming up on the field wherever they want to. Back in the days, I had my 50, y'all had y'all 50.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm saying, like, that atmosphere, and that's why I used to be so many fights, because and I know a lot of people here probably don't know about dog fighting, and I don't really know nothing about dog fighting either, right? But there is something called the scratch line, where they put a line on the ground, and when they let their dogs go, if your dog doesn't take a step over, it's an automatic forfeit because he's scared, he pussy, he don't want to fight. So when Florida State would line up across, and when he would throw that spear with fire in there, and they step across, they 50, now they on your turf, how do you not step back? That is why when you look in the 90s, in the early 2000s, in Florida State, whether it was Miami, Florida State, or a bunch of different schools, they used to fight and bang out, man. It's a crazy atmosphere. A lot of other guys push and shove and get into it in the tunnel, but we used to really, really bang, and it's something that I miss. Change the rules, man. Let them boys line back up.
Yeah, when it comes to pick, you talk so much about being an expert that I kind of do want to hate. But I'm also taking Florida State.
That's all right.
I'm still not sold on Miami, and it's part of the troll in me too.
But
I'm taking Florida State, and it was +4 or -4,
4.5. Yep.
4.5. They'll cover that.
Yeah,
wait,
DJ,
are you taking? Hold on, wait.
I'm taking Florida State to win, and they will cover the 4.5, meaning they'll win by 5.
Florida State just has to win.
If they win, it doesn't matter. So basically, if he says that,
they're underdog.
Yeah. So if Miami has -4.5, they're starting off at -4.5 points to start the game.
Okay.
So it's not 0-0. It's when you start, they have to cover that just to be 0-0.
Taking Florida State.
Well,
I'm
look,
learning.
I'm gonna throw a little nugget. I'm putting $500 on all of the bets that I said, and whoever can guess closest to the score of that game in our DMs, whatever my earnings and winning is, man, I'm shooting it over to you. It's pocket change. I saw Cam and Mace with Gilly, and the niggas was racing. They said, what we do when we win niggas money? We rip it up. What we do when we win people's money? Man, we give it away. Man, we give it away. So hit the DMs, start with the facts, guess the points. He or she who is closest, if it's a tie, that shit might get split in 90 ways. I'm just giving the money away. I don't need the money, man. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just doing it just cause.
All right. Well, to get a pick in before we move to the next game, I am taking Miami to cover. DJ, with all the Florida State theatrics, you actually almost talked me into Florida State. But I think Miami covers the 4.5. I think it's Miami by a touchdown or more. There's some other lesser known games that I think could be interesting bets, and I don't know if you guys looked into any of them. I'm going to kind of kick that off with Army travels to UAB. I think Army wins the game. I think they cover the 6.5 point spread. Reason being, and just like a little kind of a fact nugget, that their time of possession this year is about 60 to 70% of the game. They run the ball, they hold the ball. Historically that's true, and it's true again this year. So I think they'll run for 200, 250 yards, and I think they'll go to UAB and beat UAB by a touchdown or more. So that's my money bet where I'm going to put my funds this week.
Oh, you're looking for a bet?
Just a bet outside of the ones that we talked about.
Yeah, no, I'm taking. I'm taking Michigan over Wisconsin, and I think Michigan's going to cover the spread that they have.
I'm going to pull it up here real quick just so we have it. Michigan favored by 17.5.
Yeah, I think they'll cover. Wisconsin can't move the ball.
Yeah, that could be like a 30-3 game.
Yeah, they can't move the ball. I've seen Wisconsin play a few times, and they can't move the ball. They have a great ranked defense. What I think Michigan's going to do, since they have a good running offense, I think they're going to break their spirit by saying, hey, what you do well is stop run defense, but we'll kick your ass. And I think
break your spirits.
Yeah, and I think that their quarterback is dynamic enough to score on them, and I don't think that they'll have the ability to produce points. So that's my pick.
You mind looking up the numbers for North Carolina and Clemson?
I think it's 17.5. Let's look.
The toilet bowl.
14.
Yeah,
14. Clemson's favored by 14.
Clemson's favored by 14. I don't know, man. What Uncle Bill gonna do? He gonna have them boys ready to play.
Home North Carolina.
Dabo still want a job. I'm taking Clemson
To cover.
To cover, yes.
Okay.
So B, slide me the numbers for Penn State, UCLA.
I guess am I the group?
It is supposed to
the
do
bookie?
homework.
Am I the bookie here?
You the better. We learning. We learning on.
No,
You else got an app?
he put it in the chat for y'all to do the homework.
Good
Oh,
Lord.
that's
You see
crazy.
who did the homework? You see who looked at the chat?
Maurice told me not to look before.
He told me the same thing, man. He said, let Brian do the work.
So no, so he had instructions. You see, I'm the only brother who did the homework, right?
Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah, so second y'all pick a game. Which y'all
I
bet.
picked the game.
And trust me, when you guys say your picks and you don't know what the spread is, yet you already you're instilling a lot of confidence in our listeners.
I'm
No.
still learning.
Watch me. I'm gonna come with some facts in football. Go
All
ahead.
right, Penn State at UCLA. Penn State's favored by 24.5.
I take it.
You
I take it. Here, I take Penn State to
Okay.
cover. Here's why. And here is Gino's fact nugget for the day. UCLA has not led a game 1 second this season.
That's
Look
bad.
it up. That's how bad they are. And again, we know Penn State does not have a great offense, but they do have a great defense, and I believe their defense will give them opportunities to have short field. They'll play the special teams game, and UCLA is just that trash. I'm going Penn State to cover. You see what I'm saying, Brian? I just need
Hey,
to know.
that's
I
good.
know football, baby.
You did well. Nobody's ever doubted that, bud. We know. Is there any other games you guys want to cover? We want to move on to some coaching topics. All right, last college football topic. Then there's some trending discussion about who's going to be the Arkansas coach. Are they going to stay with Bobby Petrino? Probably wait to see how he does. If they move on from Bobby Petrino, there's a big name out there sitting in the Big 12 that could be ready to move on and up into the SEC. That's one Dion Sanders. So we've only talked about a Sanders 3 days this week. We're going to now make it a fourth day. We're going to bring Dion in. Alex, what do you think?
I was more intrigued about Gruden being, Arkansas's coach. As far as Prime, I think he got a good thing going at Colorado. You know what I mean? That's a huge step to go to the SEC and, deal with different type of athletes. And what I mean by that is you get these athletes from Colorado. A lot of them want to come there just to play for Prime. They would have never gone there before. So now you got these athletes who are SEC guys like, yo, I know I'm SEC, I'm here. Their attitude may be a little different. They may not respect Prime the same like they did when, I don't know what just happened.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if he, if it's the same that, they're going to respect him the same, like, because they're bigger talent. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it. Not enough information. I like to say.
I just think it's one. I don't think he's going to go for the same reason that they got rid of this guy. They don't have the money. And the guy just basically said that we can't fundraise and we don't have the same money to pay for the athletes. And so if I'm going and I'm Dion, one, I think anywhere you go, but I don't think this is just true for Arkansas. I think if you're a premier coach or you have a reputation, a name or something, you have to have the ability to pay for players.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the NIL backing, if you don't have the revenue being generated as a fan base, I think it's just going to make it tough, because at some point, all facilities, they do the same thing. And I'm talking about just the weight training, the weightlifting, and so on and so forth. But in order to get talented guys, you'll always have an apartment complex that's a little bit nicer that you can place guys. They'll have, student athlete support offices that look nice because you have to recruit regular students to go there. But when it comes down to the separation, and just so people know, you have a regular revenue share for all athletes, right? They'll share revenue. You can give each player in each position so much money, but the above and beyond revenue comes from NIL. And if you don't have people that raise that money, if you don't have that money internally to disperse to yourself, you won't get the premier players that you need. And so I think for that reason alone, is why Prime may stay over there. Now, I think if you had a Florida State job open up and it's Dion coming back home and you have, that being galvanized, that'll be one thing. But even Dion, he's in a situation right now where it's easy to understand why he's not successful because he doesn't have the players. And I think right now he'd rather deal with that than go deal with, I don't have the money, or I do have the money and I'm just playing against a different talented group of guys. So I don't know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I saw a statistic where Arkansas, they're a bottom 2 or 3 spending team in the SEC. So, how do you compete? He's naturally just going to bring people in because of who he is. Mm-hmm. People will follow that, and that you get a discount. There's a prime discount for sure when he's there. But when the only team spending less than you, I think, are Kentucky and Vanderbilt, it makes it a tough place to turn around a program, which is what he would want to do. He's not going to go there to win one game in the SEC every year. And then I looked at their schedule next year, and man, dude, they're set up 1-11, 2-10. I mean, that SEC schedule is tough. And if you just look at who they play, like, it would be tough for me to say that's something that a guy like Dion would be excited about jumping into.
Just think about this. I made $55 million and I can go win 8 or 9 games and everybody's happy.
Mm-hmm. In a conference where top to bottom, it's like a lot of the same teams. Like the Big 12, the difference between the top and the bottom isn't like it is in the SEC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're a big fish. You don't think about this. Dion goes to the SEC. He goes on primetime networks and you get embarrassed nationally. Even though he has national attention now, going into the SEC is totally different than his Big 12 stuff. And people, and not because of anything personal, some personal, but people buy into storylines. Embarrassing Dion or talking bad about Dion to somebody who's just producing content would just be like, hey, we're just producing, Dion is getting his ass kicked. Look at how Dion's look when he's getting his ass kicked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just because just the other way, he was so polarizing the other way with just his personality, with how he's built, Prime. So,
and I think that's what, my point I was making. You said it's not personal, but you remember how he went into Colorado. He said, hey, I'm bringing my Louis with me. You can't go to Arkansas and do that if you don't have this, if you don't have the money. Who are you going to, pay to come in there and to play and replace all of these guys? I mean, you're going to have guys that commit there and play, but they're not going to be the athletes that you need to not go, 2-10.
And with that being said, it looks like DJ is off the show. The technical difficulties from the helmet. But check us out weekly. We'll start with the facts. Go back since you don't have a show to watch what it is. We have a week long of catalogs of other shows you can check out. Subscribe. Tell a friend if you haven't. But join us every day at 5 p.m. on the Come and Talk to Me Network.